Okay, you guys, we are back with another video. In this video, we're gonna talk about Ye and Bianca Censori being out and about. But it seems as though critics love Ye when he was in his manic episode. It seems as though they had more love for him then because at that point, honey, he wasn't just controversial, he was highly controversial. So, I have to say, it appears as though the critics loves when Ye is highly controversial. No, that's not the only thing we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about Kim Kardashian trying to steal the spotlight consistently with Lewis Hamilton, and is it working out for them? Let's get into it because, as you guys can recall, providing you have been keeping up, honey, and if you haven't, I don't know why you would not be keeping up because, honey, you're missing out and you're missing out on quite a lot, okay? So keep up. Now, as I was saying, Ye and Bianca stepped out yesterday. Well, it wasn't yesterday that they stepped out. It was the day before. It was on Friday. They spent some time at the Chateau Marmont. Now, as you guys can recall, Ye has been hit with a lawsuit from one of the Houston brothers because he inappropriately touched Bianca, held her by her waist, spun her around, and put his hand up her dress. So what he did right there, he tried to create a confusing moment for her to distract her from his actual intention. So when he held her by her waist, spun her around, that was to get her in the state of fright and confusion, and then he put her hand up her dress, hoping that she would not realize his intent and his actions. However, this guy had no idea that Bianca Censori is wiser than her years, and she knew what he was doing, and she caught on to it. Her husband caught on to it as well, and Ye stepped in and he defended the wife, just as how any real gentleman would defend their wife. He sucker punched him. And now, so that incident took place back in April of 2024, and the guy is coming out to sue Ye with a completely different fake-ass story saying that Ye just approached him and started sucker punching him out of nowhere. And he's doing that because now that Ye is on his meds, and now that Ye is stable and making money, he wants to paint a violent picture of Ye. And one thing we all know, Ye may say things that stings, Ye may say things that ruffles feathers, but Ye is definitely not a violent person. Ye will put his hands on someone if he's provoked consistently, but he's not gonna out of nowhere attack someone. Never has, never will. But I believe that some people are so uneducated about bipolar disorder that they automatically attach people who have bipolar disorder to be violent. And that's not the case because bipolar has different stages and not everyone with bipolar disorder is violent. So that is something that needs to be talked about, which is not acknowledged nor talked about enough. So because of that, because of, mental health being used on social media loosely, oftentimes people truly miss, insight as to mental health and the gravity of mental health. Many people are not even aware that there are different stages to bipolar. Some people shut down, some people get really aggressive, and then you have the in-betweens, right? But many people are not aware of that. So this guy is suing Ye because once many people realizes that the Zionists are coming against Ye, they see it as a prelude to take disadvantage of him, abuse him, and in their heads, they can do this and get away with it because I think oftentimes a lot of people do not see this man as a person and as a person with feelings and as a person that has the same amount of rights that they do. So they tend to take disadvantage of this man quite a lot. And because Ye is not big on countersuing, they tend to feel so entitled to suing him and getting away with it. But one thing we all know is that whenever Ye is within his rights, he always win these lawsuits. And I don't expect this one to turn out any different. I expect Ye to be victorious in this. And when he's victorious, I hope that he countersues. I want Ye to send a strong message to the people who are consistently picking on him unwarrantedly. It needs to stop. And for it to stop, he's gonna have to put up arms. Now, another thing that we need to talk about, that we really don't talk about enough, is Kim Kardashian and Lewis Hamilton. Kim Kardashian and Lewis Hamilton, they are trying to, well, Kim mostly, Kim is trying to break the internet. She's getting good traction with dating Lewis Hamilton, but not much. She's getting a little, but not much. So because she's getting a little bit of traction and not much, I believe what they're doing is to push the boundaries. And when I say push the boundaries, what I mean is that you're going to see them putting out stories about her and him that aren't true. Already, we're seeing reports of them having talks about getting serious, settling down, getting married, and not only getting married, also getting a house together. And we know that Kim getting a house with a man that she doesn't have a child with, neither yet married to, Kim is not gonna do that. But in typical Kim Kardashian style, Kim Kardashian would hope that we believe that fake story. But I'm not buying it. I don't know if you guys are buying it, but I'm certainly not buying it. So I know Kim when it comes to some things. So I can tell you guys that that's just made up. It's not real. It's not gonna happen. Now, as it relates to Lewis Hamilton, I believe that Lewis Hamilton is gonna be exhausted with this relationship real quick. And why I believe he's gonna be so exhausted with it is because Kim doesn't know how to slow down. She's literally pulling this man in every scene like a movie. You know when you're making a movie and you have to be seen everywhere? I understand the relationship is new, and oftentimes we see these things when relationships are new. The guy cannot get enough of the girl cannot get enough of the guy, and that is completely natural. But the thing is, normally, the guy and the girl would crave privacy. In this case, the guy is the only one who seems to be craving privacy, and Kim Kardashian is not craving any privacy. And as such, I believe Lewis Hamilton is getting exhausted with her, so exhausted to the point that we might see him putting up some resistance, pushing Kim away, and it may lead to the relationship ending prematurely, right? Like not planned, but he may get up one day and say, you know what? I don't want to live my life in the public eye anymore. I don't care about the payoff of winning and being on the podium. I'll work on that on my own. I don't care what she's doing to help me. I don't care what her team is doing to help me. I don't care what her connection is doing to help me, but I got to get out of here. Kim tends to make men exhausted and tired real quick, and she has to realize this pattern, and she has to nip it in the butt. If she doesn't nip it in the butt, she's not going to have any healthy relationship, and she may end up with her mom having to date a younger guy, a black one at that, one who she has to finance and keep under her feet. She may very well end up like that. And by the looks of things, It's definitely not far-fetched, and she might be heading in that direction sooner or later. So as such, when it comes to Kim and Lewis Hamilton, I really do hope that they work, but if we are seeing them so much, so often, it's gonna tell that, I think we can all tell that Lewis Hamilton is not gonna put up with that. Take, for example, Ye and Bianca. We know Ye loves the spotlight, right? But when Ye got with Bianca, did we see them in our faces quite a lot? Honestly not. We did not see them in our faces, and Ye loves attention. Ye loves the shock value. Ye loves the shock effect, but Ye was not pushing Bianca in our faces every single opportunity that he gets. And as such, if Ye knew how to pace himself with his wife, and if Kim doesn't know how to pace herself with Louis, it's gonna end up in complete disaster, and Kim is gonna have a complete meltdown if she doesn't nip it in the bud and take her relationship offline. She needs to take it offline if she values herself, values that man, and value what they have. So if she doesn't take it offline, Lewis Hamilton might be forced to take it offline for her. Now that Ye and Bianca has stepped out once again, and we're seeing them, and as I've said to you guys, I think Ye and Bianca, they are about to pull off a major scene for us. I think it's gonna really topple Kim's world to the point where she's gonna want to compete with Ye and Bianca. And will Lewis Hamilton be up to that? I don't think so, honey. I don't think so. Not even to indulge Kim or humor Kim a bit. Because I believe that Lewis Hamilton values himself, and he values himself quite a lot. And as such, that may be a tough one for Kim wanting to compete with Ye and Bianca. She's gonna want to do it. Lewis Hamilton will not want to do it. And I find them to be quite the opposite of each other, even though opposites do attract. Kim is for Israel, Lewis is for Gaza. Lewis Hamilton has been donating, contributing, and helping the people of Gaza. So that's another conflict of interest right there. They may choose to never talk about it. Lewis may respect Kim's opinions and options, and Kim may equally do the same. But does that form the basis for a long-lasting relationship, or does it form the basis for them to have consistent, heated battle? If you ask me, I would say consistent, heated battle. I think both of them are building their relationship on not so sturdy ground, and as such, expect for Kim world to topple at any minute, because Lewis is always hanging with the boys, and he always seems to have another girl somewhere, quiet, low-key, keeping on a leash, just in case. And with Lewis, it seems as though there's always a just-in-case situation with him. So as such, honey, Kim needs to tread carefully with this one. I think she needs to be extremely careful with this relationship above all relationships. I think that when you look at Louis, he gives pretty boy, soft girl era, and these men, they love themselves. They're not willing to jeopardize their happiness for nothing. Absolutely nothing. So I think Louis may potentially be Kim's given karma. But I believe only time will reveal. Let me know what you guys think, and we're going to talk some more in the comment section. Peace.